Everyone is dying to know how this market cycle is going to play out. Everyone is asking about this. And the question is it going to react like cycle 1 and cycle 3, which it was relatively short, fairly powerful, but followed by a long bear market? Or is it going to act like cycle 2, which really had two components, which had far more explosion and over a longer period of time? In today's video, we're going to discuss exactly that and make clear exactly what chart you should be watching right now to get an inside scoop at how this market cycle is going to play out. If you're new, first and foremost, welcome in. I have a question. Would you love to understand the charts more? Because once you understand the charts more, then you can have more success in crypto. You would have more successful trades. There is no better place in crypto to learn about the charts than right here. This is where you come to learn about the charts. Hit that subscribe button. This is going to be your new place to come to learn about the charts. Hit that subscribe button. Everybody throw a thumbs up. Shout out to everybody for your support over the years. We're jumping straight into the video. By the way, this is what our page looks like. If you see the button that's red, hit that subscribe button, destroy it, and we'll see you on the inside. Now, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. You can clearly see the differences, and everyone is begging, dying to know how this is going to play out. Are you with me so far? We're going to use this chart here to understand what this cycle is going to do. Now, this chart here, we're going to explain it quick and simple and clear, but we're going to really look into the colors, we're going to look into the timeline, and we're going to compare these other cycles to understand how this cycle is reacting relative to the other three. So if you don't know the stock to flow model, we're going to break it down in a clear and concise way, but this is a shout out to Plan B. This is his stock to flow model, right? So a couple key components of the stock to flow. By the way, if you already are familiar with the stock to flow, you're about to understand it at a much deeper level. Here we go. This thin line here, this is the stock to flow. What is the stock to flow? It's used in, gold, silver, platinum, and it's basically to understand scarcity, and it's to understand where the price could go based on scarcity. How do they do that? Two components. Number one, they take the availability, like how much is available right now, versus the flow, how much is going to be coming into that. And based on these two metrics, you understand scarcity. And that equals this line right here. Basically, over the 10-year history, we followed it. So if you haven't been following this stock to flow, it's time to pay attention, because over the course of a long period of time, this has proven to be remarkably accurate. Now, that's the thin little line. How about all these colors? All the colors, they basically represent how many days until the next halving. Why is the halving important? Well, the flow part, that flow part that we talked about, how much is coming in, the halving cuts that in half. It's pretty important, right? So you can see over here, this color spectrum on your screen, this basically represents the days until the next halving. Now that we got those components lined up, how about this thing at the bottom? What is this about? This is the divergence. Basically, when we're growing at a faster rate, when price is actually above the stock to flow, we're in red. When we're growing at a slower rate, when price is below the stock to flow, we're in green. It's that simple. And by the way, all these colors, they do represent days till the next halving, but at the same time, it's actual price action as well. The price action is represented in the colors at the same time. So that, in a nutshell, is this stock to flow model. And that quick description is probably, it makes more sense to you than any other description of the stock to flow yet, which is why you hit that subscribe button. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Now that you have a good foundation, now that you have a good understanding, let's take it to the next level. We understand right now we're in the orange to yellow, right? You can see that here. When have we been there before? On this channel, we always look left. You have to look left to see the facts in the charts. We understand that we were at this level back here in kind of January-ish timeframe of 2017. We also understand we were at this level in April 2013, right? March, April 2013. The reason this is important is we understand this this where we are right now, we understand that this cycle has moved faster than this 2017 cycle. We understand that this cycle has moved almost as fast as these cycles, which were explosive cycles. And there's reason for that. I'll place a video here of our theory of a new decacycle. You can watch this video here. I'll put it, it'll be a little pop-up and you can watch that. It's a phenomenal video to look at Bitcoin's 10-year cycle. You've already heard of Bitcoin's 4-year cycles, but nobody's talking about our new decacycle. So I'll put that video there. And that's one reason we believe that we're moving faster, but we'll start to piece the puzzle together. Because if we look at the stock to flow, we understand where we are relative to where we're supposed to be, right? This thin little line that we talked about is the stock to flow. Look at where we are. We're a little bit above it. In our last cycle, it took us forever to get above the stock to flow. Right? We didn't even touch it. We were below it for this entire bull market. This entire bull market, we were below it. This bull market that we're in now, we've been playing with the stock to flow the whole time. In fact, we've been really trying to get above it. Since our days of May 2019, we've really been battling, right? Whereas the years prior, we were below it. And this other cycle, right, in the beginning, it took us a while to get up to it, but once we got up to it, it was phenomenal, the explosion, right? This cycle 2 was powerful. So with all of that said, we can compare this kind of yellow to orange, yellow to orange, yellow to orange, and with all due respect, we can't really touch cycle 1. The data was so new, we don't have enough evidence, but we can play with cycle 2 and cycle 3, meaning on our chart here, this cycle 1, we don't have enough evidence on the stock to flow, but we will compare cycle 2 and cycle 3 to this current cycle today. And when we do, a couple things become clear. Yes, we're more powerful. Yes, we're ahead of schedule. Are we more like cycle 3 or more like cycle 2? I think the evidence is very clear. So far, as this is playing out, and this is the key, it appears that we're more similar to cycle 2 than cycle 3 with the evidence displayed in front of you now. Wouldn't you agree? Meaning, as we approached our bull market in our explosive time period of, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, we were growing at a slower clip relative to where we were supposed to be, and now we're growing at a faster clip. The only difference is cycle 2 saw an absolute explosion once it got through this resistance zone of the stock to flow. You can see that explosion represented here from the dates of March and April into the April 9th territory. And then we had our major correction. This was a 77% correction, which tells us that so far, according to the evidence in front of us, we're more similar to cycle 2 than cycle 3. Okay? Now, we can use that to understand how this is going to play out. Because if you want a longer bull market, if you want a more extended bull market with more explosion, you better hope for cycle 2. Because it had 2 components to it, which really allowed us to remain healthy, to build some credible market structure that ended up being the support for our bear market, right? So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, which, hey, if you watch my channel, we have the most bullish hair in Bitcoin, plain and simple. So yes, we're very bullish on Bitcoin, but we're also realistic. We're not doing videos with Bitcoin to $1 trillion in the next 5 minutes. Everything here, our words are not paid for, honest opinions, right? But cycle 2 is what you've got to hope for. And we do have some evidence in the stock to flow that represents, hey, we could be closer or more similar to that cycle 2, which would cause us to have an absolute explosion here in the next couple months, and then potentially have a pretty hectic correction, potentially down towards our stock to flow, and then continue with a second explosion months later. That's what we're looking for. This is what I want you to watch. In the meantime, I want you to see this red territory here. We want it to really propel forward. We want to see this red to yellow really take full flight and take full explosion, and then see a major correction if we were to repeat cycle 2. We don't want it to be a one-dimensional cycle top as we had in 1 and 3. That's where we stand now. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on the Twitters. The Twitters is on fire. That's where we do a lot of content that's not found on YouTube. So hit the follow button on Twitter. Crypto Crew U on the Twitters. Crypto Crew U. Go follow there right now. And make sure you follow on this channel. Follow right now. This is where you're going to come to have more success in the charts, and that equals more dollars in your pocket. Hit that subscribe button, destroy it. I'll see you right back here on the next video. I do want to have a couple more points. One is on our previous video, I mentioned multiple times how we don't put ads from YouTube inside of our videos. And that's by design. We've always done that. I know we're leaving a ton of money on the table. Somebody commented before, like, hey, Steve, there were ads in your other video. That's very alarming to me and a little bit shady, to be honest with you. YouTube is not allowed to put ads in my video. And they get mad when I click the button of no ads inside. However, they can put an ad before my video or after my video. So please comment if you see one during the video, then there's major problems, okay? That means YouTube is potentially creating fraud, which I doubt they're doing. There may be some disconnect. So please let me know in the comments down below. Oh, recommend this video to one person to help them. I will say also, my final thought is just to believe in yourself. This is a roller coaster ride in crypto. You are probably dealing with something in your personal life, and just believe in yourself and everything else will take care of itself. I'll see you back here on the next video. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs.